It's time!
Welcome to the Touching Gloves podcast. Here are your hosts, Ben and Doss.
Oh, Benno!
How are you, Doss?
I'm good, mate. How you going?
I'm excellent. Friday recording session this week. A Friday.
Mate, we're cutting it fine. 2 days before the fight.
I mean, we've both of us have a lot going on personally at the moment.
We do. We're busy. We're busy boys.
But we always make time. Always make time.
Well, you got to make time, especially for a card of this caliber. I don't know about you,
Yes.
Benno, but I am beyond pumped.
Well, I don't think there's been a fight card this big since like UFC 200, to be honest.
And one that's maintained the fights until this point. Like most of them have people pull out, injuries, suspensions, whatever. This card's just remained super consistent. So if we make it to Sunday,
for
another
like
2 days
months.
from now, this is incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. Absolutely huge.
And that fight we're, of course, talking about is the fight between middleweight Israel Adesanya and light heavyweight, both champions, Jan Blachowicz, as one of three title fights.
Yeah, massive. We've then got the pound-for-pound queen, Amanda Nunes, against Megan Anderson.
Yes, pride of Australia.
And yes. And Petr Yan against Sterling.
Mate, this is going to be unbelievable. So what we'll do today, Benno, is just have a chat. We'll have a little yarn about who we think is going to take these, who's going to get the W's, who's going to get their hands raised on the night. And
We'll just break it down. We'll riff about it.
we'll have a riff, let it roll. But either way, it's, I'm looking at these, scrolling through right now, and I'm just like, these are really hard picks, all of them.
Yeah, they took me, every fight really, for me, apart from one, was tough. Tough.
Yeah. Tough, the ultimate fighter. All right. Well, where do you want to start it off, Benno?
We may as well start with the headliner of the prelims, I think, Doss, because the Dominator, Dominic Cruz, makes his return.
Oh,
Been a while since we've seen Dom fight. I think it was since, was it the Cody Garbrandt fight? Was that his last one?
No. He's fought since then. He's fought.
I just don't remember him fighting.
Yeah, I think he's had 2 fights since then.
I fought Cejudo.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That was the
Cejudo
last
Vincent.
one. Cejudo, yeah.
Right.
And then before that was the Garbrandt fight. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So the Cejudo fight was his last one.
That's right.
Yeah, and Cejudo, crushed him in 2 rounds.
Yeah, and he contested. I think he was saying that he wasn't actually out, but it was the first time he'd been finished.
Yes.
That way.
Yeah.
But Cejudo, Triple C, no shame losing to bending the knee to the Triple C.
I can't stand that bloke. I can't stand him.
Really?
Just not a fan. Not a fan, man. Not a fan at all.
He grew on me. I look at him kind of like I look at DC. DC, I didn't have much love for in the old days.
Yeah.
Eventually, I was like, you know what? He's actually a really good guy, and that's the vibe I get from Triple C too. He just plays a character because he knows it gets eyes.
Yeah. I mean, all this talk of like, who was he talking about? Like maybe fighting Valentina Shevchenko or something and stuff like that. He's just odd. He's an odd dude. Anyway, we digress.
The king of cringe, and he owns it. But we do have Dominic back in the ring, first time in a while, against Casey Kenny, who is coming in as the favourite.
Yeah, surprisingly. Yeah, I mean, Kenny's got a good record, 16-2. He's got a little bit of heat behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's fought Wood, beat Wood. So he's not fought massive names recently.
Yes.
But he did fight 3 times last year for 3 wins. 2 decisions, though, and a first-round submission.
Yep.
So he does grind out fights.
He grinds out fights, but so does Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz is the decisionator.
Yeah, very true. I mean, just here, like 64% of Cruz's 22 wins are from decision.
Yeah.
So it's, he definitely grinds, that's for sure. But we know that anyway. Like, we know Dominic throws a lot of punches, weird angles, all those types of things. He doesn't have massive knockout power, but he's the type of guy that I think throws a lot of volume, and eventually he just wins by sheer volume of punches that land.
Yeah. I honestly see this going Dom's way. I might be biased because I'm favouring someone who's been the favourite for the better part of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're looking at, if it goes to decision, so I don't think Dom's getting finished. Not by someone who's ranked, what is Casey, like 13th or something?
Oh, he's not even in the top 15.
He's not even ranked.
No.
Yeah, so Dom's taking a risky fight here. He's got a lot to lose because this guy is, you know, essentially a dark horse.
Yeah.
But look at the records there. 22-3, 16-2. I think Dominic has just, obviously he's way more experienced. He's a bit older, a bit longer in the tooth.
Yeah.
But he's not getting knocked out. He's not getting subbed. Even if Casey Kenny's got 31% wins by submission, Dom's not getting subbed.
No, I can't see him being subbed. And I mean, keep in mind as well, those 3 losses, 2 of them have come in his last 2 fights against Henry Cejudo,
champion,
double champ, gold medalist as well.
Yep.
And before that was Cody Garbrandt.
Yes.
Who was champion at the time as well. And then his only other loss was, I think, to TJ, when TJ first won the belt.
Yep. That's exactly it.
And that was about 2 years prior to that. So, I mean, to come back, I think the Garbrandt fight was after a second knee injury as well.
Yep. He'd had like 3 years off at that point.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can make a case that those 3 losses, well, 2 of those losses don't really represent a fit Dominic Cruz. I agree with you. I think he gets it done. I don't think we see a finish. I think it's just Cruz will win over 3 rounds.
Yep.
Unanimous decision, I think.
Yep. Agreed. So moving up to the next one.
All right. First fight on. Do you want me to share screen, Dos?
Yeah, we'll do a share screen in just a moment. I just want to do a quick acknowledgement of, because this card is so huge, I just want to say how nuts it is that we've got Joseph Benavidez, the number 2 in the flyweight division, fighting Askar Askarov, the number 3 in the flyweight division.
Essentially, it's a title contender match for who fights next in the title.
That's about 6 fights down in the card.
Yeah, it's basically where the arena is empty and you've got the cleaning staff that are setting up seats get to watch these fights.
And Benavidez, you know, a month ago or a couple of months ago had the fight for the title.
Yeah, it's wild. It really puts in perspective how crazy this fight card is.
All right, let's go. I'll give you the share screen here. And
you just let me know.
Actually, you should be able to do it now. Yeah, we're on. That looks good. All right, Benny.
All right. Well, let me just drag our beautiful mugs off of Alexander Rakic there.
What a beast. Look at that rig.
Huge rig. I mean, both of them really. So, yeah, we've got the number 2 light heavyweights.
Yep.
Thiago Santos versus number 4 Rakic. 21-8, 13-2. How do you see it going, Dos? I've got my pick.
So I was umming and ahhing about this the other day, Benno. I'll be honest with you. And on paper, Thiago Santos seems like an easier pick for me. He seems like a clear winner.
Yep.
When you look at his record and you look at some of his performances, namely the fact that he's one of the people that's beaten Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah.
You know, he knocked him out a couple of years ago.
Yep.
He's looked really good at light heavyweight. He put up an amazing performance against John Jones with a basically fully torn everything in his knee.
Yeah.
And still nearly won the fight. I would say Thiago on paper gets it done quite easily. However, and particularly when you look at the records, 21-6 versus 13-2, you know, he's had a few more fights. Obviously, he's had a couple of losses, but a bit more experience. His ratio, you know, 71% by KO is akin to Rakic's 75%. So it's going to be a finished fight by the looks of it.
100%.
in saying that, Rakic looked amazing in his last performance. He looked incredible. So I'm sort of just like, is he...
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tough one. And I've been, I said to you a couple of months ago, Benno, I'm sort of trying not to bet too much against anyone who is European or the Russians they're just gnarly people with, they just keep winning and keep proving me wrong every time I bet against them. But can the pride of Austria beat the pride of Brazil? Look, if I was a betting man, Benno, and I was going to put, a couple of quid on it, I think Santos gets it done.
Okay. All right. Okay. We're going to lock us in for Santos. I've gone the opposite way. I've gone Rakic.
Yeah.
Purely based on, from what I've seen with Santos, is they both have great stand-up, right?
Mm-hmm.
They both throw heavy punches.
Yep.
And realistically, either of them could probably win the fight with the very first punch that they throw.
It takes one.
They throw bombs.
Yeah.
My thing, the reason I went towards Rakic is that Santos, for me, has a much sloppier stand-up defense.
Yep.
That's where it differed for me.
Yeah.
I think Rakic will just be able to get more punches through and then just finish the fight from there. So I think Rakic probably gets it TKO in probably the second.
Yep. So accuracy wins here.
Yeah, just accuracy and power. Like Santos has power, don't get me wrong. And Rakic, all it takes is one punch. He gets caught, he's gone. But I just think they've both got super clean stand-up. I just think Santos just lets more punches get through than Rakic does.
Yeah, it's a fair point. And actually, something that I wasn't considering is that Thiago has come off a long break from the UFC.
Yeah.
Obviously rehabbing his knee after the Jones fight, which was a while ago now. So it's like maybe that inactivity and that knee injury might be a factor in this.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's hard to pick. It's just hard to pick. So I really kind of just brought it down to the absolute basics of the stand-up game. And I think Rakic gets it done TKO round 2.
You know what? I'm jumping fence here, Benno. I don't do this often, but I'm jumping fence and I'm jumping on that. I think you're onto something here. Round 2, Rakic. Let's do it.
All right. Moving up. We've got the second coming of Khabib, Islam Makhachev, against Drew Dober.
Yes. Well, we did hear from Mr. Abdulmanap that he says after Khabib, Islam Makhachev is the next man for the throne.
He's the Dagestani king right now in the UFC.
And the fact of the matter is he's still number 14 in that division. So he's got a little bit of a journey to get there. But he is already being recognized for his skills. He's 15-1. He is part of an elite fighting camp. And his style, the type of style that he fights with, has proven very successful in the lightweight division. So already. So I don't see why that couldn't happen. If he puts on really dominant performances, he might get there sooner rather than later. Drew Dober's a tough dude too. He's definitely got a more dotted record. He's 23 wins and 9 losses.
9, yeah.
But he's still a tough dude. If you look at the stats, we've got a height advantage for Islam Makhachev. Very slight reach advantage.
Leg reach
is a couple inches there.
It's more just these grappling stats is what I think is going to be the game changer.
Yeah. Yep. 100% agree. If you're looking at takedown defense, Dober's is all right. It's 58%, but the takedown offense and the accuracy of Islam Makhachev is so good and it's so strong. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. He'll get taken down and Dober will get taken down and Makhachev will control the fight. I see his fighting style too. All those guys from Dagestan, they're very good at wading in with their head down and not absorbing too much punishment to the knockout spots. So will he eat some shots? Maybe, but I don't think he's going to eat anything that's going to take him out. So I think Makhachev gets it to the ground, dominates, and probably wins by UD.
Yeah, I 100% agree, dude. I think I think Dober's a good fight for him. He's still got a name behind him. He's still a ranked opponent.
Yep.
I think if he wins this, I think we next see him push into that top 8 type of fight.
Sure.
I think he's just got a similar fight style. I mean, we've seen the Dagestanis fight, right?
Yeah.
We know what they're going to do. I just think he's just going to take him down. I probably don't think it's going to be anything fantastic or show-stopping.
Yep.
I think he's just going to take him down, get him on the ground where he's comfortable, just tire him down, and either win by submission or unanimous decision.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the way I see his fight going, essentially.
Yeah, he'll choose how it ends, and if he wants to grind it out and get some time in the ring, he'll do that. If he wants to finish it by submission, he's got those up his sleeve as well.
He's got the skills. I mean, 40% wins by submission, so he's probably 6 or 7 wins by submission there. So he knows how to submit, and I think it's just a case of he'll take Dober down.
Yep.
Just lay on him the way wrestlers do, but stay active. So switch positions. Just body control, just exhaust him out. And then if an arm's there, if there's a head there, he'll just take it. He'll snap him up. He'll lock it in. Done. Game over.
Yeah.
I think you put it right when it's not a case of if he takes him down and decides to finish him. It's more just a case of when he wants to take him down.
Yeah.
And finish him. So, I see this fight being submission from Makhachev or unanimous decision.
Certainly.
Just wrapped up.
Yep. Agreed.
All right, Dos. Now we move to the first of the title fights for this card. The Fresh King, Petr Yan, and the Funk Master.
Mate, I'll tell you what.
This fight for me, this was the hardest fight to pick on the entire fight card.
Yeah.
And I jumped ship about 3 times when making my decision.
Yeah, I look, I'm still in the process of jumping ship. I was tending towards Aljo early on.
Mm.
And look, it may just be the sales skills of Matt Serra. I watched an interview with Matt Serra talking about how well Aljo's been training lately. And he's got that New York accent and he's enthusiastic and he kind of sold it pretty well. And I was like, yeah, I can see Aljo getting it done. And then I watched some training videos of him. And I was like, he's looking good. He's looking really sharp. He's cutting angles amazingly well, which is something that Yan does super well too. Technically proficient striker. He's been looking really good. And I think it's been a long time coming. Aljo's been around for ages now. So I think it's awesome to see him in this position. But Yan is no joke. Petr Yan is no joke.
Yeah.
And you just look at the way he's handled pretty much every opponent he's had so far. He's just been slicing and dicing Benno. So it begs the question. It's like, well, when you look at the KO rate, when I look at the KO rate here, 47% going to Petr Yan and 11% to Aljo. It's like, well, are we going to see Petr Yan just keep that trend going and get the knockout? Or is Aljo going to be too quick? Too crafty. Is he gonna block and evade? Is he gonna, I don't know.
It's tricky. I think so. What it came down to me was Petr Yan has clean stand up, probably the best stand up in that division at the moment.
Yeah.
Right. Sterling is a legit wrestler, huge high level wrestler.
Yep.
Okay. So Petr Yan's versed good wrestlers before.
Yeah.
I don't think he's versed anyone on Sterling's level yet.
In
saying that, though, 87% takedown defense is massive.
That's huge.
It's a lot. I think it's a case of, for me, it boiled down to, I think Petr Yan is going to have the stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns.
Yep.
So I see him, it was really tough, but I think I see him landing enough that Sterling probably won't try for takedowns after maybe rounds 3, if it gets that far.
Yep.
Just out of sheer, I think Jan will be too clean and will be able to land damage as Sterling goes in for the takedown.
It's a good analysis. It's a good breakdown.
And also, we know that what's the easiest way to combat wrestlers is take out the legs, right?
Yep.
Just take out that shooting power. So I really wouldn't be surprised if we see Petr Yan employ like that kind of oblique kick or just hack that front knee right from the start. Just try and take that front knee out. If that front leg's gone, I think Sterling game plan is over after that.
Yeah, that whole front leg.
He doesn't win on the stand up for me at all. That's just my opinion.
Sure.
I don't think he wins the stand up game against Petr Yan. I think Sterling. I did jump on Sterling for a bit because I thought if he gets him down, it's going to be chaos on the ground.
Yeah, well, look at his submission rate.
Well, that's it. I mean, 40%. And he's active on the ground as well. That's the thing. Like when he gets that top position, he doesn't just lay there and try and tire like some wrestlers do.
Yeah.
He works hard and he lands some damage, which is what sets up these submissions because he lands damage, gets into a scramble.
Yep.
Opponents try and slip out. Boom, done. Like a snake. But I just thought, I can't go past Petr Yan, man. I really can't. I really feel like his stand-up's going to be slick. His takedown defense is going to be on point. And I just think, I feel like he finishes Sterling either in the 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, it's very hard to argue against him, particularly after seeing, watching the fight with him and Aldo and how Aldo was doing amazingly well.
Yeah.
But eventually when he put the pressure on, it was just, and that was hard to watch.
It was like he fought at Aldo's pace for 3 rounds and he went, okay, now let's kick it up a notch. And then it's like he just went to a different level and it was hard to watch after that because it was just like a man punching a boy just kind of over and over and over again. It's like, it was wild. And just to know that he could do that after 3 rounds of fighting with Aldo.
Yeah.
Was
he's got a gas tank.
Yeah. Huge gas tank.
I'm going to go, I think
it's hard. It's super hard.
I'm going to side with you here again, Benno. Part of me would like to see something, because at the moment, other than Aljo, I don't know who in that division can take Petr Yan.
These are the standings here.
Yeah.
The next closest bet would be Corey. Sandhagen.
Yeah. Who got beaten by, was he beaten by Aljo? He was beaten by Aljo a few fights ago, I think.
Let's see.
Might be worth double checking that. I could be mistaken here. Because he's Sandhagen.
He lost to Sterling submission in round 1.
Yeah, okay, so there you have it. So Sandhagen's looked really good the last few fights with against Edgar and Marai.
Well, they were pretty emphatic knockouts.
Yeah,
really. But yeah, it's tough. Tough.
And he'll be a good contender. Sandhagen will be a great contender in future. But I think right now, Aljo is the best. He's the best possibility to beat Petr Yan.
Yeah.
And if he wins it, it sets up, and potentially it sets up an interesting rematch.
It opens a lot of opportunities if Sterling wins this, because it's not often, especially in any of the UFC divisions, that we're seeing champs defeated in their first title defense.
Yeah.
So it opens up a lot of opportunities for guys like Cody Garbrandt, Rob Font.
Yeah,
all these guys. Pedro Munoz had a good win on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It really just opens the whole division up, which will be really interesting to see.
But even weighing that up, I'm actually still going to go with Petr Yan on this. I do think he's just a different breed, man. He really is.
He's just an absolute monster. I was watching some of his classic moments the other day, and you just watch those fights and you're just like, this guy's just a beast.
Yeah, he's an
absolute beast.
Yeah. And I told you, I find it hard to bet against the Russians these days. So.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they've got a lot riding on them, don't they?
Yeah.
You'd be a great man.
But how does he do it? I think he does it. I think it's a decision. I think.
Yeah.
I think Sterling manages to get through without being finished, but I think it goes Petr Yan's way.
All right. So we've got Dos for decision and myself for knockout. I'll say round 3 TKO.
Okay.
All right, Dos. Now we move up to Amanda, the pound for pound GOAT of women's MMA.
Dude, she's possibly the pound for pound GOAT at the moment.
To be honest, I really only think I'd probably only put 2 males above her. So in terms of UFC, I'd have her probably about here, and I would only have John Jones and Habib above her, above Nunes.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's a good.
Everyone else in this list is going down, and Nunes slots in right there.
Yeah, she's a double champ, and she's beaten.
She's beaten everyone. She's knocked out Cyborg, who literally everyone thought was a man that couldn't be knocked out.
Yeah, that was one of the most exciting knockouts I've ever seen.
She beat Holly Holm. She smushed Ronda Rousey. She's everyone that I watched the tapes of Amanda Nunes again, just lead up to this fight, and the evolution of Nunes from when she first entered the UFC to like the Ronda Rousey fight, the Holly Holm fight, the Chris Cyborg fight, mate, she's so confident in there. So confident.
Yeah.
I remember I saw one of her early fights. I think it was like only her first or second fight in the UFC. And she was that classic kind of nervous Brazilian in there, just kind of feeling out, mate. You click forward 3 fights and she's fighting Ronda Rousey.
Mm-hmm.
And she just stands and bangs.
I think
even against Cyborg, she's just an absolute beast, man.
Yeah.
Absolute beast. She's got massive knockout power, could knock out most males in the UFC.
Dude, she'd knock me out easily by looking at me.
She'd smush both of us. Like, she's just an absolute weapon.
Yeah.
And this for me was actually the easiest fight to pick. I don't think nothing against Megan Anderson.
Yeah.
I just think Nunes absolutely destroys her, and I think it's done in 1 round.
Wow.
I really do. I think Nunes she's that good. Again, nothing against Megan Anderson. Megan Anderson's a good, legit fighter. Yeah. And she's earned a title shot. But Nunes is a different breed, man.
Levels.
She's levels. It's, absolute levels. And I generally don't think there's anyone in women's MMA that can beat her.
Yeah. Megan Anderson, like, again, it's one of those things where I'd love to see the underdog come out here just to make it interesting. Yeah. And also she's Aussie, so, get behind.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%. Like, but you got to get behind the
Aussie talent.
Aussie pride and Aussie talent. But it's...
But, look, Megan Anderson has had a good run. 55% KO, TKO rate, 27% submission rate. Her record is, she's winning 1 out of 3 fights.
Yeah.
With a record that's 11-4. Well, it's actually less than that. It's just under 1 out of... So... When you're looking at that compared to Nunes, her record is 1 out of 5. And those losses were a bit earlier on in her career.
Yeah, they were real early in her career.
So it's like, how do you stop that train? I don't think you do.
I honestly, I thought about this because I was just like, okay, I'm just going to go into it and I'm going to try and come up with a scenario where Megan Anderson wins.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't, man. Like, Cyborg caught Nunes with a good punch that rattled her a bit.
Yep.
But Nunes recovered and knocked her out. And I don't think there's anyone at the moment that hits harder than Cyborg.
Yeah.
So I just can't. For the life of me, I can't think of any way that Megan Anderson, not even just Megan Anderson, that most women's fighters can beat Nunes. Well, I can't see it.
Here's the consideration I've got running through my mind here, Benno.
Mm.
Remember that time when Ronda Rousey looked unbeatable?
Yeah, yeah.
And a taller, rangier Holly Holm, came onto the stage.
Yeah.
And
over in Melbourne. It was Melbourne of all places.
It was here. And we know how that ended. Nice head kick knockout there. Part of me is just like, what if Megan Anderson is the Holly Holm of this fight?
I'd love to see it, to be honest. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Megan Anderson win.
Yep.
Like I said, she's a great fighter and she's definitely earned a title shot.
Mm.
For me, I think you put it right. It's just like, how do you stop Amanda Nunes though? That's the thing.
Well, it's a knockout.
I couldn't come at. You've got to knock her out. That's the thing.
That's legitimately the only way. So that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine Megan Anderson landing a head kick, getting that knockout, some sort of flash knockout via head kick. That would be unbelievable. What I would say to follow that up, though, is if she did it, it would in a way, obviously it's opportunity is luck. Luck is opportunity meeting preparation. I think that her training would have created that. But you have these two fight 9 times or 10 times. I think Nunes gets it done probably 9 times out of the 10. Yeah,
100%. It's. I think everything's going to have to go right for Megan Anderson.
Yep.
I'll be interested to see what kind of game plan she tries to employ.
Yep.
And I'm also going to be interested to see how Nunes starts the fight, whether she goes right from the start, look for that quick finish, or whether she's a bit more laid back. So it's going to be interesting either way. But yeah, I've got Nunes inside 1 round.
Yeah.
Knocking this out. What about yourself?
I'm going to go with, I think it gets done. I think the longer it goes, the more likely it is to go to decision. So I think it's either 1 round, first round, Amanda Nunes, or it's decision Nunes.
Okay. I can respect that. I can appreciate that as well. All right, Dos. Let's finish off with a bang. We've got the light heavyweight body double, Stipe Miocic, also known as Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, I love body double stuntman Jan Blachowicz.
It's fantastic. Against, we already know who he is, Stylebender, Izzy Adesanya.
Yeah.
Current middleweight champ, come up to take this fight. It's the worst kept secret in UFC that he takes this fight as he wants to win this fight so he can then fight John Jones. That's what we think. That's what we know. It looks like maybe in December. We've just got to wait and see. Yeah. Dos.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Jan Miocic, our mate, he's a beast. He's a monster. And
he is, yeah.
Aside from... Well, look, here's what I figure. I sat on this and I was like, he's got a lot more power than Costa.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, Costa's a power puncher and he's going to get easy, right? Reality is Blachowicz, he's got the Polish power. He's more powerful than Costa.
Yeah.
And getting hit by him is different to getting hit by pretty much anyone else.
It literally sums up the meme of like, it hit different. It's very different to getting hit by this dude as opposed to getting hit by someone else.
In saying that, you've got to get hit,
That's the thing.
For it to affect you. And Izzy doesn't seem to really get hit that much.
Yeah.
Sure, he's eaten a couple of shots, but he's very good at rolling with punches. He's very good at getting in and out. He's very good at cutting angles. He's so good at countering. And I just think the fact that Jan is a power puncher might work against him because he might come out with a bit of steam and end up on the receiving end of, some beautifully technical and powerful, crisp striking from Adesanya. And it's like, people keep talking about Jan's knockout power. Look at the TKO ratios.
Yeah. It's literally 75 from 20 fights.
So 75% KO TKO goes to Israel Adesanya and 30% goes to
Jan
Blachowicz. Now, if you look at the submission rates, the fights don't go to the ground. So this, I see it going this way. I see Adesanya piecing up Blachowicz. I see him landing shots, sticking and moving. Blachowicz may try and shoot for a takedown. It's not going to work. He's going to, he's going against someone who's got such great takedown defense.
Yeah, well, I mean, just perspective, 86%.
Yeah, 86%.
And funnily enough, apparently has never tried for a takedown.
And that's because he doesn't need to, because he's the most elite striker, I believe, on the planet at the moment.
Big call.
Dude, well, think about it. He's had over 100 fights. And he's lost 6 in his out of all from boxing to kickboxing to MMA.
Yeah.
That's a very hard man to bet against.
100%. Okay, so in saying all that, Dos, what's your pick? You run me through what happens.
Yeah, I think it comes out I think Blachowicz comes out with pressure.
Yep.
It's exciting. It's exciting in the way that Ngannou versus Stipe Miocic was exciting, where everyone was like, Stipe is going to get knocked out because Ngannou is throwing bombs.
Yeah. Throwing rhino killers. Yep.
Yep. But I think that by the end of the first round, Blachowicz realizes that he's not going to be able to just land shots at will on Adesanya, which will slightly demoralize him. Adesanya will have learned will have figured out, because he's just such a high IQ fighter. He will have figured out Blachowicz's, distance management, his timing, all of that. And I think from the second round onwards, it becomes the Adesanya show. And I think he actually finishes it probably third or fourth round with something spectacular, probably a question mark kick or something.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I found this tricky. I did. For a second, there was a part of me that was like, Jan can do it. Mm-hmm. And I think Jan can do it. I think for me, it boils down to, so the Jan Blachowicz game plan is going to have to be close the distance, right? He's going to have to try and somehow cut off the ring so that Izzy has his back to the cage and Jan can just keep that distance close, land those short punches. And because, I mean, like we spoke about, Jan's got power, yeah? And he's got power in short punches as well. Mm-hmm. That's really the only way I can see him. I can't see him fighting at range because, I mean, Izzy's got longer reach than him. He's got more varied strikes. He's just impossible to hit at range, right? Mm-hmm. It's like an on-point Anderson Silva, only a little bit faster.
Yep.
Which is scary. So that's how I see Jan trying to fight. Close distance, short punches, short power punches, and somehow just try and work from there. Just keep it in like a tight, close game. Maybe even just, if he can get a knockout or stun him somehow, then swarm on him.
Yep.
But I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Izzy's... So this 75% here, they're definitely more TKOs as opposed to clean knockouts, right?
Yep.
I think he's just going to land more punches. They're definitely not harder. I think he's just going to land more punches, just 1-2s, jabs, everything, high kicks, leg kicks, low kicks, body punches, the works.
Yep.
And I think it's just going to be absolutely too much for Jan. I think it's going to be similar to the Santos fight. Mm-hmm. That's what we saw. Like, we saw Santos just got absolutely swarmed by the clean hitting of Adesanya. And I think Izzy gets it done. I'm going with you. I think it's the third or fourth round. I think it's just going to be too much. Jan's just not going to be able to handle it. Izzy's going to hit him with something clean. It's going to knock him down. Done. Game over.
Yeah.
It's just too hard. The more I looked at it and the more I watched previous fights from Adesanya, he's just hard to hit. Yeah. And that's the thing.
In the way that we spoke about Nunes just being levels above everyone else before, this is the truth about Izzy, right? You got to consider, I said before, he's had about, I think, 6 losses in over 100 fights. Yeah. One of those losses has been a knockout.
Yeah. All the rest are decisions.
And he's been hit hard. Like, I think people just look at him and they go, he's a skinny guy.
Yeah.
You look at the two of them, Jan Blachowicz has a head like Thanos. His jaw is huge. He looks like he can weather a storm. But we've seen him get knocked out by Thiago Santos. And I just think the fact of the matter is Izzy, precision beats power, and Izzy is so precise. Yeah. And, look at his last few fights. He's had Ramiro, he's had Costa, he's had Whitaker, he's had Gastelum. All of these guys have power. He had, Spider, Anderson Silva, who might be past his prime, obviously, but still has power. All of these people have power.
Yeah.
He's just too precise.
Yeah, that's the thing, 100%. Like, you look back at his fights, it's not like he's fighting guys that can't punch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Rob Whitaker's knocked out most of the middleweight division. Kelvin Gastelum can knock people out in a split second. Yoel Romero is an absolute killer. Like, Santos as well is an absolute killer. And Santos landed some good punches on Izzy in that fight. Mm-hmm. Like, Izzy, his face was puffy. He had a bit of blood.
Yep.
Same with the Romero fight. Like, that was a tough fight. It went 5 rounds. So he can take punishment. That's not an issue for him at all. It's just, he's He's just too accurate.
Yeah.
He's too accurate. I think the extra weight, I've heard people talk, oh, maybe the extra weight. Nah, it's not going to be an issue for him. He probably walks around normally at 205 regardless.
Yeah. When he's fought 205 in the past too, back in kickboxing.
Yeah, it's not going to be an issue at all. I think Izzy gets this done, becomes a double champ, and then we just wait and see, mate. We wait and see. I think the end of the year is when they're expecting possibly a John Jones, Israel Adesanya meetup. Obviously, it all depends with Jones at heavyweight.
Yeah, and this can all get derailed. You know, we've seen in the past they were trying to tee up fights between Anderson Silva and
GSP,
things like that, and things just get derailed. And even recently, you know, they were hoping that McGregor would win against Dustin, and then they could tee up something there. But it's just like things get derailed, and I think if we do end up seeing Jones Adesanya, that will be incredible. At the moment, it's like, well, Adesanya's got to get past Blachowicz, and Jones has to also, you know, he's moving up to heavyweight.
There's some big fights. I mean, Izzy's got to get past Blachowicz, no pushover, and Jones has to potentially fight the winner of Stipe and Ngannou.
Yeah, both are murderers.
Again, there's a lot of things that need to happen for this fight to happen. But in saying that, I think Israel Adesanya versus John Jones would probably be one of, on paper, the best fights in UFC history.
If it actually would be, and if it happened, and just play this game with you for a moment, Benno, imagine if Israel went up to heavyweight as an already double champ and
got a triple belt.
He would be absolutely, undeniably, unequivocally
he'd be the first ever triple champ.
Apart from Henry Cejudo.
Oh, yeah. Cejudo won 3, didn't he? Yeah,
well, not in UFC.
Yeah.
Well,
he'd be, I guess officially the first UFC triple champ.
Yeah.
Having beaten the guy that many consider to be the GOAT, apart from Khabib.
Yep.
Mate, it'd be huge. It'd be massive. The thing for me that I'd love to see if that fight card happens is I want the whole fight card to be absolute bangers.
Oh, it would be. They would not let it be.
It'd have to be. I'm talking. I want to see like Khabib wrestle a bear. I want to see Nunes fight Cejudo. I want to see all of this type of stuff.
Yeah, I want to see Nunes.
Tag team UFC fights. GSP and Anderson Silva tag team fighting. Fucking Charles Sonnen and BJ Penn, something like that.
Yeah, and like Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz double teaming against, you know, the Pettis brothers.
Yeah, huge in a tables match. It'd be. I just want a massive card, which I'm sure it would be. But yeah, as we've said, there's a lot that needs to happen for that to happen. First things first, it's got to get past Big Blachowicz.
Can you click on Izzy for a second, just so we can have a look at his last few fights?
So he's got...
Yeah, and I don't want to just write off Blachowicz.
Not of course. I think it's just hard to look past the quality. So you got Costa, second round knockout. Ramiro went decision. Whitaker, second round knockout. Gastelum decision. Silva decision. Derek Brunson, first round KO. Tavares, 5-round decision.
Marvin Vettori, power.
Wilkinson. So he's fought a lot of like Brunson upwards, like power.
Yeah. I thought, did he not fight Santos?
I don't know. This isn't always accurate.
Well, because
sometimes get a bit jumbled around. You could have fought back down here.
Yeah, I thought Marvin Vettori and Adesanya, when was that? April 14th, 2008.
2018.
Man, that's nuts. He's only been in the UFC for 3 years.
Yeah.
Look at what he's done. He's so active.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look like 2018, he fought 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 2019, he fought 3 times.
Yep.
2020, he fought twice.
Yep.
And you look at that, like March 7th, he fought 25 minutes with Yoel Romero. 6 months later, takes another fight.
Yeah.
And then, so September to March, 6 months later, he's fighting again.
Yeah,
So
he's a beast.
he's very active for a champ.
And he's a great champ. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got great mindset. He's grounded. He keeps himself humble. Even though he talks a bit of the talk and all that, he understands how to play the game. I think they're both Blachowicz as well. He's a lovable guy, man. I watch those embedded videos.
They're both good guys. Like, it's not like you're just like, man, I hope this guy gets crushed because he's not a good dude.
Yeah.
They're both good fighters. It's going to be a super entertaining fight. That's going to top off what should be a really, really entertaining main event fight card.
Dude, I am, as I said, beyond pumped. So we'll see. We should probably jot these down, actually. We should jot down.
I'll make a note. I'll put it up on our Facebook list. And we'll see how we go.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'd be curious as well to anyone who has any suggestions or has any, who are your picks? Who have you got?
Yeah. We want to hear.
We're curious to know particularly out of the 3 championship fights.
Yeah.
Who are your picks? Anything else there today, Benno?
No, I think that's it. I think we've covered a lot, Dos. There was a lot to go through.
Yeah, it was.
We've rattled through it all. We had a nice little break. I think it's been about 2 weeks since we've done one of these.
Yeah.
As we said, though, we've had a lot of... we're both working through a lot of personal stuff. Not the bad way. We've just got a lot going on in our personal lives.
A lot of things happening. You're living the dad life and you got moves coming up and, You're
living the also moving life, possibly up to Queensland.
Well, I am. Yeah, I'm moving in a week. Moving to Queensland. So that means that, a week from now... I won't probably have an office to sit in and do this. So we might even have to do some quick videos on the road.
Yeah, 100%, mate. We'll figure something out. Maybe we could just tee up some nice little reaction vids or something. Just some quick little 5-minute react vids.
Yeah.
So that people can see our beautiful mugs.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just go from there, mate. Well, I'm sure we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Benno, go and be awesome, my friend.
I will, my friend. You enjoy the rest of your day. I mean, it's only 10:30. We've got the whole day ahead.
Well, I'm about to, as soon as I walk out of here, I'm about to find out if I've got the house I've applied for. So fingers crossed that is the case. And if I get that house, you've seen it. It's amazing.
It is. It is. Next level.
You can come up and we can do some UFC hangs at some point. That'd be amazing. Get a big screen.
That'd be sweet. I'll be done. I'll be on it.
Yeah,
no problems at all.
We'll fly you up there soon.
Legend. All right, mate. Well, I hope it all works out for you.
That's another episode of Ben and Dos, Touching Gloves. If you like what you have heard or seen or, just bear witness to, like it, subscribe, share it.
Yes, find us on YouTube, find us on Facebook.
We're
any of those, just spread
Touching
the love.
Gloves with Ben and Dos. And tell us what you want to see more of. With that being said, all the best and farewell for now.